Welcome to Unjaded. Welcome back if you are back for another episode, and welcome if this is your first time. I'm so happy to have you here. So today we're going to be talking about simplifying your message. And this episode came about because the other day, someone commented on a social media post of mine, and I swear it was if he was speaking another language. The language was human design, but I didn't understand what the heck he was saying. And I know human design. So today on Unjaded, we're going to be unpacking how and why it's time to simplify your message so that the people you're here to work with can quickly understand what it is that you do and hire you to help them. If that sounds good, keep listening.
Welcome to Unjaded.
I'm your host, Vickie Dickson.
This is a podcast with a human design spin on building the life, the relationships, and the business that you were made for.
Let's dive in. Okay, dear listener, I would love to invite you to repeat after me. I, your name, do solemnly swear to take all of the gobbledygook out of my messaging. Seriously, there's this thing that we do when we write that we don't normally do when we're speaking. It's like we stop behaving like a real person and we start speaking like an encyclopedia. If you've ever been guilty of trying to sound smart online, I am begging you to stop doing this. Never, ever, ever do it again. The highest compliment that you can get is that you are capable of simplifying things. Let me take you back to my yoga teacher days. So I had this real knack for teaching seniors and low mobility yoga. And there was another teacher at the studio that I worked at who really looked down her nose at me, and she completely dismissed me as a valid yoga teacher because I just, and I'm putting that in air quotes, I just taught seniors or I just taught low mobility. And then she had to teach my yoga class one day. And the people were lost because they couldn't do any of what she was doing. She was a one-woman show up on the mat in front of them. She was contorting herself into all of these poses that they couldn't even begin to wrap their minds around, let alone their bodies around. So she completely lost them. And the class was horrible for them and for her. And that's how it is for your people when you use complicated language in your posts. This is rampant in the coaching space. I call it coach speak, and it doesn't land at all. And it is really, really, really rampant in human design spaces because human design can be complicated, right? And I've been guilty of it myself on this podcast, where we have all of these funny words in human design. We have all of these weird concepts in coaching, and we speak about our industry, our niche, as if other people get it, and they don't always get it. And if they don't get it, they can't hire us to work with them. So the simpler you can make things, the better people get that you get them. They understand that you know what it feels like to be them. And you know what? It's harder to teach or to simplify things than it is to do the advanced version. So go back to my yoga class. I actually had to take a whole lot of specialized training to be able to understand how to make small movements matter. And it's really easy when you're at the front of a room and you're able to just speak to, I'm putting this again in air quotes, more advanced people. So think of this in your coaching job, in your human design job, in your health coaching practice, whatever it is that you have. Think of how easy it would be to stand at the front of the room and talk to people who already know human design or already know your niche. It would be really, really easy. It's really easy to teach that yoga class to people who already know the poses, but it actually is more of an art. It's harder to take into account injuries and chronic conditions and replace body parts, all of those things when you're trying to simplify something for somebody. It is not about dumbing it down, not at all. It's about simplifying it. And the better you understand something yourself as a coach, a teacher, a service provider, the better you understand it yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to simplify it. Sometimes we use the big words and we don't make them super, super understandable for our people because we can't really grasp in our brain how to make it make sense for them, which means that we maybe don't have quite the understanding that we need to have of it. So it's going to be a little bit harder for you at first to get the hang of speaking simply. But once you get onto it, I promise that your content will flow more easily out of you because you won't be worried about trying to sound smart and that your engagement will absolutely go up. So I'm going to give you an exercise. And at the end of this exercise, the good news is you're going to have at least 10 more posts, maybe more, that will be ready that you can get into your scheduler or whatever it is that you're using, whatever system it is that you're using. So I invite you to go back to your last 10 posts that you posted on social media or blog posts or emails that you wrote, whatever it is. Go back to your last 10 pieces of content and rewrite them as if you're speaking to an 8-year-old who has no idea what it is that you do. Now, the other piece of this that I'm going to give you is to speak about one thing per post. So this is something else in my Content by Design course. This is so funny. When people first come into the Content by Design course, every single post that they write has about 12 posts in it. And it's like, it's too much for our people. It's like their brains are exploding. We're making them work too hard to consume our content. So that's why I said you'll get at least 10 posts out of this exercise, maybe more. So if you're going through your posts and reworking them as if you're speaking to an 8-year-old and you see in this one post, oh my gosh, I'm actually talking about 4 things in this one post, I want you to separate that post out into 4 pieces and create 4 posts with it. You could very easily, by doing this exercise alone, get a month's worth of content that you already have sitting there that can be used and used well, used better in your business to bring people into you. So go back to your last 10 posts and rewrite them as if you're speaking to an 8-year-old who has no idea what it is that you do. Look through those posts and make sure that you're only introducing one concept or speaking about one piece of something in each post. If you're speaking about more than that, I want you to separate it out and make a separate post for that. And then write like that for every other piece of content that you create for the rest of time. I'm going to pop a link for you in the comments. It is an affiliate link of mine in the comments. I'm acting like I'm talking on social media. In the show notes, I'm going to pop a link in there to my very favorite scheduler. I want you to check this out, okay? With my affiliate link, you're going to get double the amount of free trial. And this scheduler is amazing. So it will automatically pull either your top performing posts. You can set up any parameters that you want, but your top performing posts or all of your posts from Instagram. So when I started using it, I pulled all of my posts from Instagram back, I think maybe 6 months or something. And I loaded them into my drafts folder. And then I could rework all of these posts. So instead of starting from nothing, which as a manifesting generator or a generator in human design is absolutely freaking painful to start from zero, I can go into my drafts folder and I can see, oh, I'm responding to that today. Oh, I'm responding to that today. Not only that, I can also in SmarterQ, I can also revamp each post to have different versions of it come out at different times. So there are times in my business where I might have 3 months of content scheduled out as a skeleton. I call it the skeleton. This is the baseline of posts that I want to have in my business. So that as a second line, I'm a second line in human design. I know I'm mixing a lot of different concepts here for you, but the second line in human design, this is my profile, needs to retreat. There comes a time where I need to hermit away and I can't be on like I can be at other times. But having a skeleton of posts on my SmarterQ enables me to still be present. So for you, you may not be someone who loves social media. You may not be someone who can be online all the time, and that's okay. But by giving yourself some sort of a scheduling system, whether it's SmarterQ, another one, and setting up a skeleton of posts, when you go back and do your homework in this episode for these 10 posts that you're going to rewrite, which may end up being 30 or 40 posts by the time you're finished, you can create that skeleton. So let's say that from that, let's conservatively say that you created 20 posts out of this exercise when you go back to rework all of your posts. That could realistically give you 40 days of content if you wanted to use your skeleton to post every second day. And then when you're in response, or when you feel the invitation, or when you want to initiate something, or when you have a reflection that you'd like to share with your community, you can do it in the moment on those other days, or you can move something on your schedule to do a series of things if that's the mode that you're in. But having this skeleton and having this really easy way of creating content and really easy way of storing content and being able to simplify things for your people will just make it absolutely magical for you. So that link is in the comment section if you want to check it out. Once you have signed up for that SmarterQ, if you want to jump on a 15-minute call for me to walk you through how mine looks, I am more than happy to do that. You can connect with me on Instagram at Vickie.Dickson, or all of my links are in the show notes where you can reach me on the website. I have one more thing to quickly just tell you about. If you want to see what this looks like in action, you can grab the replay of the workshop that I did. It's just $27 and it's all about repurposing content. So again, it's along the same theme of this episode where you're going to simplify your message. In that workshop we went through and we got, I don't know, at 30 or more posts out of this blog post that someone had written. And then we did the same thing with a sales page where we grabbed a bunch of posts out. And the thing that's magical about simplifying your message is that you will be able to do that like that. You'll be able to look at anything you've created and pull out the nuggets and say them in a way that lands with your people so that they are compelled to work with you, so that they understand that you're the person who really can help them because you have shown them through your words that you understand how they feel, you get where they're at in their journey, and you don't have to make it so complicated that they feel like they're an idiot if they don't get what you're talking about. Okay? So go on and do your homework, and I want to hear how it goes. Touch base with me and let me know how you do and how many posts you get out of it.